Your name is Rose Lalonde. In the year 2000, when you were 9, your mother got you a shrink-wrapped box about the size of a small book. Its front read, The Sims, in plain white and blue letters. Sims was a revelation. Before that moment, you assumed that video games were silly playthings for the easily amused, flashing lights and loud guns that drooling young boys like to stare at, instead of building social skills. The Sims showed you the depths of your misapprehension. The sprawling freedom, the tiny people in box worlds dancing for your amusement. It awoke something deep inside you. At first, you were their caretaker, then their controller. After long enough, you were their god.
Having fun with your little sim guys, Rosie?
Your mom asked you one day, poking her head into the room.
The joy felt in my deepest soul at the torment of a virtual man dispels any notion of a just and loving God.
You replied, failing to look away from the now blue glow of the CRT monitor, its light shrouding your face like a dreadful specter.
Oh, okay,
your mom said, retracting her head slowly. Now, within the confines of the game Spurb, you reckon your curse. Karma, perhaps. You tortured Sims without mercy or exhaustion, and now you are being subjected to the life of the Sim yourself. You are now the subject, the squirming virtual thing jerked around by mysteries above your understanding. The trolls, with their omnipotent view of your universe, feel like the overlords of your very existence. The frustrated players of a game you are in the confines of. Suddenly, there's a pang of sympathy in your heart for all the times you deleted the pool ladder. "What are you thinking about, Miss Rose?" asks Jaspers near your right shoulder. Whether you like it or not, you're presently on the land of light and rain, a technicolor shit show that you've been made to inhabit by the wiles of fate.
Dread,
you say to Jaspers simply. Jaspers' smile falters. "You were talking to those troll guys for a long time, Miss Rose," Jasper says. "Did you learn what to do from them?"
I did,
you reply in a tone that you hope is gentler than usual. You've been hard on Jaspers lately. He doesn't deserve your ire. You're a little too skilled at being a great big downer, something that is in stark contrast to your cheerful questing partner. You look Jaspers up and down. He really is a weird creature, created from the essences of your deceased cat and a Princess Cthulhu plush toy, entirely pink in color and vaguely translucent. You give him a sympathetic look. You're not very thrilled about existence, but for this kitty you can pretend.
I shall spare you the gory details,
you say, wondering if he will even understand.
I have been tasked with finding an artifact known as the Timer. Do you know anything about it?
To your surprise, Jaspers furrows his brow. No, Miss Rose, I'm sorry. Jaspers doesn't like being unhelpful. You can tell he feels guilty.
Really? You are meant to be my game guide, aren't you? I would think you'd know everything related to the game.
You stroke your chin. Was Karkat mistaken about this timer item? Well, yes. I know most everything, Miss Rose. I even know things players aren't normally supposed to hear about, but even I've never heard of a timer. Jaspers matches your body language and uses a tentacle to stroke his chin. In your pocket, something buzzes. It's your phone. Someone is messaging you. Normally, you would only pick up your phone to silence the notification, but the sender of this message gives you pause. Without hesitation, you decide to respond. Hello, Miss Lalonde.
It is a little forward to say another person's name without introducing yourself first.
Forgive me. I assumed you would be able to extrapolate my identity. You are a seer, after all.
So I'm told. What do you want?
I want to give you a boon, Rose. I can call you Rose, can't I?
Aren't you locked away in some other universe? Forgive my skepticism. What boon could you give me?
The best boon an omnipotent man such as myself could give. His attention.
Gross. Hard pass.
Do you not want information about your current predicament? As an act of good faith, I will allow you to ask me any 3 questions, and I shall answer with the utmost candor.
Right. I suppose asking something like, "What's your deal, you weird, disgusting creep?" is too on the nose.
Lamentably rude, yes.
I will take my chances finding my own boons, thank you.
Very well. I will see you soon, dear. I will see you soon, dear? What a disquieting man. He reminds you of the boyfriend your mother used to bring home from time to time. For some reason, you are reminded of those nights spent tormenting Sims again. Even so, you don't have any clue where the hell to start searching for the timer. Maybe the general idea of asking for information isn't a bad one.
Pardon me. I have a question for you. It pertains to the quest at hand to initiate this scratch business. You have expressed knowledge about things to pass before. What do you know about the timer?
Hello, Miss Lalonde. I am glad you reached out to me. Elated, even.
Oh? I'm elated to hear of your elation.
And I am elated to hear of your meta-elation. We may reach a critical mass of elation if we continue on this path.
Let us agree upon recursive elation and move on, shall we?
Let's.
Now then, I shall repeat myself. What do you know about the timer?
Oh, goodness. Not much, frankly. Essentially, the timer is a game construct that is intended not for in-game utility, but for post-endgame cleanup.
I'm not sure I follow. When I asked my guide character, he said he knew nothing.
No, he wouldn't. Guides would categorically not need to know about it. The timer is a bomb.
A bomb?
Yes, a really big bomb. Its timer is set once the reckoning begins, and it explodes after a certain amount of time.
I see.
It explodes and destroys everything within the medium after the time expires. I theorize that this is in order to make sure the medium does not linger in paradox space longer than needed.
I see. What purpose does it serve for the scratch? Why do we need it?
That, well, I don't know. Sorry, Carcat is the resident scratch expert. Well, other than Dr. Scratch, of course.
Ugh. Sorry, that guy creeps me out.
Has he contacted you?
Yes. He kept calling me strange pet names and condescending to me.
Oh, yes, he does have some quirks. But he is immensely helpful, Rose. I suggest accepting his aid.
I shall take your suggestion into consideration, miss.
Just call me Kanaya. Having you call me Ms. Merriam would be dreadfully indulgent. Even though I suppose, technically speaking, you are an alien and therefore inferior.
Inferior? That's rather rude.
Sorry. I want to make friends with you, Rose. I truly do. It is just hard reconciling my feelings with, my beliefs.
This is like when we talked to that pink text woman who claimed to be our queen. I'm not sure what kind of ideology you're laboring under, Kanaya, but I'm not interested in talking to someone who believes me to be inferior, no matter how charming they are.
Charming?
I will talk to you later.
Wait, I'm charming? Rose, wait!
You roll your eyes. This Kanaya girl is one flighty broad. You'll talk to her later, when you have time for horse shit of that nature. You message Carcat, the scratch expert, for his wisdoms following Kanaya's advice.
Hello.
No dice. What an asshole.
Jaspers?
You say, getting the attention of your precious feline.
Are you positive that you don't know anything about this timer item?
Jaspers shakes his head, his whiskers swishing this way and that. I'm sorry, Miss Rose. I'm positive that I don't know anything. Jaspers squirms sheepishly, biting his lip. You cock your head to the side.
Jaspers?
You ask, prompting.
Miss Rose,
Can I borrow your phone when you're done talking to the troll people? Jaspers prods two of his tentacles in front of his chest shyly. There's a troll I really want to talk to.
Really?
You smile, amused.
I can guess which one.
Oh yes, Miss Rose. Jasper smiles broadly, his cat teeth on display. It's been so long since I talked to another cat since, Earth is gone and stuff. You pet Jasper's head. Admittedly, you've been feeling for some time that Jaspers needs some form of enrichment that you cannot provide. You sigh. Looks like you'll need Doc's help after all. There's nothing worse, in this world or any other, than admitting to a smug jackass that he was right.
Hello. Again.
I told you I would see you again, Ms. Lalonde. I knew it was a matter of course, since I am, as stated, omnipotent.
You're awfully smug for someone who claims omnipotence. Smugness is associated with being justified in assumptions, something impossible for someone for whom assumptions are justified by default. I have a strong theory that your claim is exaggerated.
How shrewd. Regardless, my offer stands. I shall answer any question you like. Surely that will persuade you of my powers.
Fine. Question the first. Why do you care about the Scratch so much? You're in an entirely different session than we are. If my understanding of Karkat's comments are correct, you're not even in their universe right now. Imprisoned.
My imprisonment is precisely why I care, dearest Rose. I am trapped here, not only in the Trolls' session, but in their doomed world of Alternia. I am trapped inside this vessel, their first guardian. I require a new one. My new vessel resides within the universe that will be created from your Scratch. Karkat was supposed to build me my vessel in your session, but alas, he is a fool. Luckily, I foresaw this, and planned accordingly, due to being omniscient.
You want to escape your universe, but you need a new body to live in. Simple enough. How will you get to the new universe?
I will use ectobiology and alchemy. A being is the sum of their components, you see. If I make a copy of myself using alchemy, the same process with which you created your wands, I will be able to replicate myself anywhere I please. Cut, copy, paste. Simple.
Why couldn't you use a vessel from our session?
Sadly, I need a very specific form of life to inhabit. This form of life was supposed to exist in your universe, but due to Karkat's shoddy craftsmanship, these beings did not appear. Beings known as cherubs. They have certain properties that I require for my vessel.
Properties such as?
I only allowed for 3 questions, Miss Lalonde. You've spent all your curiosity points for today. To earn more, you'll have to be a good girl and do more for me.
Please don't call me a good girl.
I'm a little shocked, Rose. I thought you would ask about the timer, not about yours truly. I'm flattered. Except I'm not shocked in the least being omniscient.
I see you've downgraded from omnipotent to omniscient. Fascinating.
Don't get smart with me, darling. Since you wasted your questions, I shall be kind and give you a hint. In rhyme, no less.
Spare me.
To save you from searching, to save you from pain, look to the center of the light and the rain.
You could just say, there's a hint in the middle of your land. I'm rather tired of these oblique explanations, from you and from everyone inside this idiotic game world. Do you get off on being cryptic? Ugh.
You look down at your feet. There's a hint in the middle of this planet, huh? You stomp your foot, feeling the shifting crunch of dirt underneath. Would you like a hint about how to access the very center of your land, Rose?
I'm sick of hints. Keep them.
Then how will you know where to go next?
I shall have to make my own path forward.
I do not advise this. Best to stay on the proper path. How do you plan to make your own way in a game that was predestined for you?
I was thinking I would dig.
You close your phone before you can be drawn into more of this creep's bullshit. You crack your knuckles, rocking your head from side to side to stretch your neck. Your wands flicker to life in your grip. You are no longer Rose Lalonde. Your name is Bec Noir, in the medium of the Trolls universe, A2. To say the least, you're a little annoyed. You went to all this trouble to make it into an alternate reality, and your welcome party was a group of gray-skinned devils with irritating powers. Things aren't panning out the way you want them to. You are a man who knows how to improvise. You haven't been able to find these devil hooligans. Your sense of smell is all thrown off in this new universe. It's been days since you arrived, and you've been scouring the place for them to no avail. Oh, you hate it when there's no avail. You're gonna avail yourself by the day's end. You run a hand over your head, flattening your canine ears, your eyes still stinging and squeezed shut from that fight with the sword guy in the old universe. You breathe out your snout irritably. You need to let off some steam. This reality looks a lot like your old one if you squint. The medium's an empty black nothingness dotted by dark planets with the pale dot of Skya lighting everything in the distance. The details, however, were different. For example, back home, there had been just 4 planets between Skya and the Outer Rim. In this one, you count 12. Your eyes dart to distant Skya. Around it is lazily spinning a yellow sphere that you recognize instantly. Prospit. To your canine mind, it looks like a yellow rubber ball, a chew toy. You lick your lips and find yourself floating towards it. Familiar Prospit. The architecture is still piss yellow and dotted with irritating royal flags, but instead of a sophisticated cityscape, the buildings are spired and ornate. Buttresses and columns rise from the ground and reach up nobly as opposed to the flat surfaces of Prospit's windowed high-rises and shingled roofs back home. You say, mildly fascinated by the medieval scene below. It's like peering into a mirror, everything the same, but the details all flipped and surreal. Your mild interest fizzles out like a stubby candle as you raise your hand to obliterate Skya's moon in one sweep of your nuclear hellfire. It cracks open like a golden egg, and your canine lips curl back in bitter entertainment. The screaming below is music to your ears. This is exactly what you needed to do to de-stress the wanton destruction of an ancient civilization that vaguely resembles one you hate. You watch as green explosions erupt from beneath cobbled streets, tearing Prospidians asunder, their white shells shattering like glass. From high above, they look like little ants. You shoot another jet of green destruction from your hands, leveling several buildings far below, laughing as you go. You turn your hands to Prospit's moon and fire off another few smaller blasts, the chain linking the 2 spheres shattering apart as Prospit is reduced to rubble and shell-like fragments of crust. As the rubble clears, however, a sight gives you pause. At the middle of where Prospit's moon once sat, there is a pinprick flicker of white light, joined by another one soon after. In the gleam, there is a silhouette of 2 bodies. You squint. There's something familiar about that pinprick of light. Something that scratches the back of your mind uncomfortably, like Ace tapping your shoulder when you're trying to focus. The pinpricks vanish, dimming slowly. You scratch your snout thoughtfully, floating away from Skya and the broken planet below. Destroying Prospit is surely a good time, but you have bigger fish to fry. Your mental checklist has 3 main things on it. First, obtain the White Queen's ring. You have no idea where she's hiding. No doubt still hanging around that sash-wearing Dursite. Second item, find those gray-skinned pests and put them to a sticky end. You have a feeling they escaped somewhere in the furthest ring. Finally, however, is the main reason you've come to this new universe at all. Reunite with the boys. You decide to tackle that mission first, as revenge upon your enemies will be all the sweeter when you have your crew. You close your eyes, flying towards Durst, while imagining them embracing you like an old friend. You are no longer Bec Noir. Thank you for listening to Homestuck Alternate Universe. HSAU is sponsored by contributions from viewers like you. To learn more, go to patreon.com/funkmclovin. This episode was directed, recorded, and edited by Funk McLovin. The cast, in no particular order: AE as Terezi, articulately composed as Rose and Mom, Bucky as Carcat, Captain Lazar as Jack Noir, Eclipi as Gamzee and Equius, Janaya as Kanaya and Jade, Pakin as Tavros, Technically Dead as Solix, Harper as Vriska, Shrimp as Nepeta, and West as Pfeffery. Art by Sunny Dionysus, Gastro, and Clown's Kiss. Supplemental art by Funk McLovin based on characters by Andrew Hussie. Special thanks to Daft Class, Yo It's Crow, and Andrew Hussie. Homestuck Alternate Universe is not affiliated with What Pumpkin or Viz Media. To read Homestuck's original webcomic, please go to homestuck.com or bambosh.dev/unofficial-homestuck-collection. Thank you.